You're listening to Careers and Cocktails, Career Talk with a Twist, hosted by expert recruiter Renee Frey. Let's get this party started.
Hey everybody, welcome back to Careers and Cocktails. I am so thrilled to be videoing in with Juliana Whitney. I'm obsessed with her hair, and two, I'm obsessed with what she's up to, and I can't wait to learn about it because I know nothing about the cannabis industry. So, Juliana, give us your elevator pitch.
I have been in the cannabis industry since 2015 and am in Las Vegas and currently have two companies that I focus on. So I'm the president of a company called Cann Strategy, which is a cannabis business strategy firm. We work with investors across the country, and then also co-founder of a newer company called Leafsheets.com, which is more of a legal Zoom for cannabis. It's a product online that works for entrepreneurs who want to get into the industry and operate their businesses successfully.
Awesome. I can't wait to chat with you. But first, what are we drinking today?
Today we're drinking a pomegranate mojito.
And I will start making it. So I have my super fun, because spring has sprung and I love glassware. I'm obsessed with glassware. So the ingredients in the pomegranate mojito is 1 lime cut into 8 wedges, 20 mint leaves, 2 tablespoons agave nectar or sugar, half a cup of white rum, ice, and lime slices for garnish. So we're going to muddle the lime and the mint together. And I've got my handy dandy. It says in a sturdy container. I think this is pretty sturdy. So I'm going to throw my lime in there with all my mint. And oh, it smells so good. I love mint. I love mint in soda. I love mint in everything. I have it growing in my house. Okay, here's my muddler. I don't know. I need some leverage. So we're going to muddle this. And I got to tell you, I love mojitos. And my most memorable mojito memory is being in Holland with my husband's brother-in-law. And we got him like a mojito kit. And it had like the recipe and everything. And he fell in love with them too. So, okay. So now we've got it muddled. We're going to add the agave. And I've just got this organic agave in the raw. I'm going to add 2 tablespoons. Let's see if I have enough in here. Getting to the end of the bottle. Okay, throw that in there, and then we're going to muddle it again. All right. Okay. So it looks like a hot mess in here. It's all mushed in there. Now we're going to add the rum, which I got Bacardi. Which rum do you use?
I usually use Bacardi.
I haven't had Bacardi in a long time. I'm a mega tequila drinker. And I got to tell you, I haven't had a mojito in probably like a month. And rum, we are adding a half cup. I think that's 4 ounces. I think this makes 2 small glasses or 1 large one, and I'll probably have to split it up. Otherwise, I'll be wasted. Okay, rum, and then pomegranate juice. Half a cup of that too. So it's really easy to drink. It's like equal portions of rum and pomegranate. And who doesn't love pomegranate? Oh my God.
I love it. I used to like open them up and just put a whole one in a bowl and eat it with a spoon like cereal.
Oh yeah, I love it too. It's so good. And all the antioxidants and yum, yum, yum. Okay, now I'm going to stir it because it needs to be stirred. I got this muddled, glorious mint and rum and agave and
beautiful
lime. Yum. And my glass already has ice, so I'm just going to pour it on in. Pour it on in. Oh, I want some of the mint in there, but whatever. We'll just deal with it. And then garnish with the lime. And I love straws, so Cheers.
Beautiful. Cheers. I have more of just like pomegranate juice with seltzer.
Oh, that's okay. I'm
But
drinking your drink for you, okay?
Thank you.
So, Juliana, what can we celebrate for you this week?
This week, we can celebrate that I am getting to, this isn't even a career thing. Is that okay?
Oh, yeah. It could be personal, anything.
I'm getting to go to Arizona to celebrate my longtime friend, like since high school, her baby's first birthday.
Oh,
I'm
that's awesome.
Thank you.
Cheers to that.
Cheers to that. I love when my friends have girls because I just love buying all the tutus and like tiaras and like seeing the crazy little girl things they do, like I just love it.
Oh, yeah. Girl, I have two daughters, 10 and 12, but between the boys and girls, the girls' clothes are 10 times cuter. The boys are getting better, but boy, girls have so many options.
They're so fun.
So before we jump into question, I got to ask you about your hair. I am obsessed with your hair. Like, you clearly are a badass if you're rocking magenta. It looks magenta. What color is it?
Thank you. No one ever gets that right. People are always like, red, is it? And I'm like, it's magenta. Can't you see? Yeah, it's magenta. I decided to do it in 2020 around Christmas because I ran into this woman at Target. She was like 80 years old and she had pink hair. And I said, I love your hair. She said, thank you. I always wanted to do it, but I had to wait until my kids left home and I retired. And I thought, oh, I want to do that. I want to dye my hair pink when I'm older. And then I thought, how do I know how old I'm going to get? I don't know if I'm going to make it till then. And so I did it like 2 weeks later.
Awesome. Virtual high fives. That's awesome. All right. Pretend I'm a kindergartner.
Okay.
I'm like 2 feet tall. What do you do for a living, Juliana?
Okay. 1, I own my own companies. 2, there are people across the country who want to get into the cannabis industry, and I help them do that in various ways. I help them to get into the industry, and then I help them succeed in the industry. So with Cann Strategy, I help investor groups and just, groups of entrepreneurs who have some capital to apply for licenses in the states where they want to operate, and then to project manage until they can get their doors open, and then help them out to kind of grow the company from there for however long they need me for. And then
Awesome.
with Leafsheets, it's almost a product model of what I do with Cann Strategy. So it's all of the documentation you could possibly need to both start and to operate your cannabis business, but sold as a product online in a do-it-yourself model so that it's like 10% of the cost of a traditional consultant and is more accessible for, the startup entrepreneur who's totally smart enough to do it, but may not have like 6 figures for consulting fees alone,
Right. Fantastic. Yeah. So Leafsheets is kind of like not a formal franchise, but like the model of operating model for a business so they can purchase that and do everything and start their business.
100%. Yes.
Awesome. I love that. So when you and I connected, tell me, you kind of fell into this. I know you've got an incredible education background. You got an MBA. Tell me, how did you get into the cannabis industry?
I was taking 2 years off of getting my MBA because I had a nonprofit and I still have that nonprofit, but I was super focused on the nonprofit at the time. And my parents thought I was really distracted from school because I was working on the nonprofit, and they said you should take a couple years off, which meant I needed to get a job because my time was no longer taken up just by school. So I did not like looking for a job because I've always been entrepreneurial, and I was like not happy to have to look through all these job postings. And then a family friend here, they were opening the first dispensary in Las Vegas, and they said, oh, you can work here. And I said, okay, sure, whatever, it's a job, cool. And I had no interest in the industry at all. and which, much to the chagrin of everyone I worked with, who it was their lifelong dream to work in the cannabis industry. And then, so that's how I started. And I started at the front desk, and I did everything, cashiering, inventory, just patient coordination, all the things, because it was startup.
Wow. And then how did you decide you were going to do it on your own and help people start their own businesses?
I figured that by watching everything, I saw that everyone, even all of the owners, were really struggling because it's a new industry. They're working in this regulated business model. Even the regulators aren't quite sure what's going on. And I loved that because I love startups, new ventures, and I saw all of these problems to be solved and these gaps to be filled. And I'd done a little bit of consulting prior to being at the dispensary, and I thought, okay, I think that I have figured this out. I think I can fill these gaps. I think I can solve these problems. Let me see. And so I'd been meeting all of the executives because they all were delivering their own product at the time. They didn't have sales teams. And I asked one of them, who I knew had a dispensary that still wasn't open, if he would let me try to get it open. And he said yes. And I did it. And in like 6 to 8 weeks, got them open. Now they have 7 locations. And then ever since we got their doors open, I've just been doing business consulting.
Wow, that's incredible in a matter of weeks. Cheers to that, girl.
Yeah. I'm like,
So you're a problem solver and you love challenges.
Oh, love. Yeah.
So what was your nonprofit?
Okay, so my nonprofit, it's called That Adopted Girl.
I saw that.
Yeah, I was adopted as a kid when I was a baby.
That's what I was wondering.
And not in foster care. I was just adopted privately. But I still had a lot of issues around it when I hit my teen years. And it was a struggle. It was like a lot of therapy, a lot of, tumultuous emotions. And when I was about 23, I started to write a book. I wanted to write a book. I started writing a book about it. And then I thought, okay, to sell this book, I'm going to need a blog because I got to build an audience. And then as I have this blog, I start getting people actually writing to me who'd been adopted as kids and who were in foster care with just sad stories and sad things to say. And I figured, okay, I think there's more that I can do than just write this blog. And I incorporated the name That Adopted Girl, which was the name of the blog, into a 501c3 and started to do the nonprofit, which worked with girls in foster care from 12 to 18, focusing primarily on self-worth development. So we would do like makeovers, but also do, talks about just, who you are and how you develop and self-worth and things like that. And that's what it was. It was pretty simple, but it was always a good time.
That's incredible. I wish, I'm super confident and I wish I could help people with their confidence, but what a niche, because this is a side note, but 2 of my best friends are adopted. One is a gentleman and one is a lady, but they are they are so successful, just like you, business owners. I love that. And I was like, gosh, is there some commonality between people that are adopted and success or something, but
yeah.
Cheers to you, girl.
Thank you. Cheers. I think there actually might be
commonality there.
Yeah, in terms of there's kind of a correlation between entrepreneurship and trauma. And
fascinating.
Adoption counts in trauma. And so I think in that way it does count.
Fascinating, because my mom raised me and basically single parent. My dad was an alcoholic and there was a lot of trauma in our household, but I haven't heard that correlation. So yeah, that would be accurate for my life too. Oh my gosh. Okay. We're going on the party bus. You can invite anyone. They have to be alive and famous. Who are you inviting?
I don't know if this is even a very fun person, but I would just invite Oprah.
Oh, I love Oprah.
She's
love
fun.
She'd be fun.
is fun. Like, she would love the cocktails. I mean, she's just like a good time and like great conversation, and that maybe bring Gail along too, have both of
Oh
them.
yeah. That would be they would be so fun. And then I could pick their brain about how to be even better as a person tomorrow, because I'm huge growth mindset and
Yeah.
no better person than Oprah.
Yeah.
I love it. All right. So who is the perfect customer for Leaf Sheets?
The perfect customer is someone who is entrepreneurial, who has some kind of interest in the cannabis industry, and who's ready to get started. Yeah.
And do they have to be in a specific state? So I'm in Wisconsin.
Okay. So they do have to be in states where it's legal,
Got it.
either medically or recreationally. But that's really the only parameters, unless they're preparing for their state to become legal. Like if it looks like the state will legalize soon and they just want to get kind of a head start, then also for people like that.
Okay, got it. And tell me, why would someone want to start a cannabis business?
That's a great question. It is an opportunity to be part of something emerging, which only comes around, every so often. And it's an opportunity to be part of developing what this industry will be. And also, because it's so new, there's a lot of room to succeed and to do things well because it's still such a mess. So if you can enter the industry and do a really good job, you could genuinely do a good job. You could really make a business for yourself and you could really build something real. Definitely faster than if you entered an industry that's been around for a long time.
Right. Well, and there's so much competition. So I would assume you get a head start as a business owner in cannabis because there's not as much competition as the other industries. You know what I mean? So that's cool. And then what's most important to keep in mind when designing a product, Juliana?
The consumer. So with us, when designing Leaf Sheets as a product, it was, how will customers best receive this information? How do we make this? We know what the product is and we know what its purpose is, but how do we connect its purpose so that the customer connects with that purpose and the customer can realize the purpose in a way that works for them? And so that was number one always in our mind, because we knew if we can't do that, this thing will totally fail.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. It's all about the customer. And I've seen such an evolution. Gosh, don't quote me on this, but maybe 10 or 15 years ago when it really came about what's in it for them, like that mindset of marketing and getting more personal and personalized marketing approaches. Definitely has been a shift, right? With all the social media and gadgets we have at our fingertips.
Yeah. And I would say also that's more the as you're developing your product. And then I would say also keep in mind, is it a scalable product? Can you make a lot of it? If you blow up, how do you just, duplicate over and over and over?
That's really important. You have to be scalable. Otherwise, you might go out of business.
Yeah, you'll just stall. So.
Yep, exactly. What do you look forward to in changing about the way your career is right now?
I look forward to having a bigger team, and therefore not having to do quite as much as I handle in everything at the moment. And then also to traveling a little more. I used to travel somewhat more with Cann Strategy, and then, COVID slowed everything down. And I actually love to travel for work, even though it can be exhausting sometimes. I kind of like it. So I look forward to more travel.
That's awesome. I love traveling too. And where do you get your inspiration from? Any books or podcasts or that you listen to all the time?
I get my inspiration from, I meditate. So that's one thing. I read books. I read a lot of business books, pretty business focused. But it's funny.
What's your favorite business book?
My favorite business book is Good to Great by Jim Collins.
Oh, yeah.
So has How the Mighty Fall, Great by Choice. I love all of those books. What I love about them is that they are actually based on data. It's not just like, here's my idea, but that it's written in a way that's just like a personal development book, but it happens to be about business. And so it really resonates and just makes like practical sense, And I appreciate that about those books a lot.
Yeah, I'm a personal growth business book junkie. You should see, I think I have a stack of 12. I'm slowly working through. I'm like, okay, I got to get through these before I buy another one.
Yeah.
What was the one I just read? Oh, The 5 Things You Cannot Change by, I think, David. He's a PhD. David Coyne, maybe? Anyway, that book blew my mind.
Wow. I'll check it out. I similarly, like, my parents are professors, so I grew up with just walls covered in books, right? So I'm geared to buy books. I have like 100 books I've not read that I've bought though.
Oh my gosh.
I've collected them. Like, I gotta get to reading these. For sure.
I know. I'm the same as you. I still buy the physical book because I love highlighting it. And then half the time I have to buy it digitally too because I'm always on the go. And so I've got both, it's like obnoxious. Juliana, where can our listeners find you?
You can find me primarily on LinkedIn. I love LinkedIn. It's just Juliana Whitney. On Instagram at official Juliana Whitney. And then the 2 companies, cannstrategy.com, it's CANN strategy.com, and then Leafsheets, LEAF sheets.com. And yeah, those are the best places.
Awesome. You have been an incredible guest. Keep doing what you're doing. And I wish you continued success, girl. Cheers.
Cheers.
Thank you so much for tuning in. We are thrilled to have made a worldwide impact with listeners in 9 different countries. If you've enjoyed this conversation, please be sure to subscribe to Careers and Cocktails on YouTube and drop us a review on your favorite podcast app. If you're looking to update your resume or you're stuck in your career, I'm designated by LinkedIn as the top resume writer and career coach expert. I even created a resume and e-learning course to help you if you want to do your own resume. It's super simple and extremely affordable. Go to careersandcocktails.com to learn more. I also wrote a book called I Hate Mondays for all of you job seekers who hate your jobs and want to love your Mondays. You can go there for the same information. And of course, I am up to so much valuable information sharing that for you hiring leaders, if you want to find the secrets to finding the best talent, I have a hiring guide at careersandcocktails.com as well. I am here to share information and help people love what they do. Until next time, cheers.